In this new series, we're going to be exploring how PAWS affects your bow. Welcome to the studio. My name is Cassie and I'm a professional violist and teaching artist. So in this 4-part series, we're going to be exploring how each of those 4 aspects, PAWS, can affect the sound that your bow produces. Today we're going to be talking about that P of the acronym, which is position of your bow. So when I go to playing position, and if you haven't established a really good bow hold yet, check out this video before you delve into this stuff, because you're going to want to have a good bow hold before you start worrying about what you do with your bow. So if I position my bow closer to the bridge, middle, or fingerboard, it's going to get me different sounds. Now each of these 4 factors are kind of interrelated. So the P is position, A is angle, W is weight, and S is speed. They're all kind of interrelated. We're going to try to only worry about one of them at a time because it gets a little bit confusing if we start layering stuff. So the very, very basics. If my bow is really, really close to the bridge, that's a special effect called sol ponticello. It's Italian for meaning on the bridge. This is not our default setting. So if I place my bow on the bridge, it kind of gets that wispy sound. Again, not a really desired effect. If I move a little bit away from the bridge, more towards the middle, this is going to be where we want to be, like our default setting. So I want to place my bow in the middle to get that nice, rich sound. Now again, you can see how much space is between the bridge and the fingerboard. There's probably 70 different places I could place my bow to get different effects. But middle, kind of halfway between bridge and fingerboard, that's the good place where we want to be. So desired sound, nice, loud, rich, and full. As I move closer to the fingerboard, my sound is going to diminish in dynamic, so it's going to get softer. A little bit less rich, a little bit less full. So again, bridge, middle, fingerboard. So you can see how those 3 factors or those 3 placements can help us pick different sounds and kind of enhance our color palette when we're talking about expression. So not only does placement have to do with where physically on the string am I placing my bow, but where am I starting in the bow? So again, your bow is quite long. I could start always at the frog in the middle. That's going to get me a nice rich forte sound. I could start in the middle, a little bit higher up, kind of in the upper lower half towards the middle. It's going to be a little bit quieter of a sound. As I move towards the tip from my starting place, it's going to get quieter and quieter. Again, I'm not trying to change any of those other factors, angle, weight, or speed. I'm trying to keep everything as consistent as possible. So again, you can see there's a bunch of space between the bridge and the fingerboard where I could place my bow. There's a bunch of places in the bow where I could place my bow to create different sounds. So if I'm going for a forte, nice, rich, beautiful, expressive tone, I want to place my bow starting probably at the frog, and again, this is all situationally dependent. Place my bow at the frog in the middle, and that's going to get me that nice, rich sound. I can still be in the middle if I change one of those other factors, like perhaps the weight, and get a softer sound. So you can start to see how all these 4 factors are kind of interrelated. So when you're thinking about whatever piece you're playing and gosh, I'd like it to sound louder here, I'd like it to sound softer here, we're always going to go back to these 4 factors and think, what do I have to actually do with my bow to produce that sound? So we're going to use the same example, musical example, in all 4 of these videos so we can see how all these factors can affect the sound that we're doing. So this is the prelude or the first movement of Bach's 3rd cello suite. It's just a C major scale. That's why I picked it, because I figured most people would be comfortable with that. So if I'm talking about placement only, I'm going to be in the middle and I'm going to try to maintain that middle. I'm not going to try to go anywhere near the bridge, anywhere near the fingerboard, just so we can hear what that sounds like. So this is middle placement. It should get you a really nice, rich, full sound. If I kind of mess with that placement a little bit, maybe I want it to start really loud, so I start in the middle, and then diminuendo as I go down. I'm going to try to push my arm out towards the fingerboard a little bit, which helps create that diminuendo or decrescendo sound. Maybe I want the exact opposite of that. Maybe I want it to start a little bit softer, so I start a little bit more arm pushed out towards the fingerboard. as I go to create that crescendo. So again, you can start to see how this one factor can really affect the sound and what it does for us. So we talked about, with this example, where I'm going to place my bow on the string. We haven't talked about where I'm going to actually place my bow, frog, middle, or tip. So if I want to have a really, really loud sound the whole way through, I'm going to try to stay in the lower half. So that would sound middle placement near the frog. So again, trying to stay maintained, really tight sound there. Maybe I don't want it to be kind of one note. Maybe I want, again, a crescendo, a diminuendo. I'm going to maybe start in the middle of the bow and think about making my way towards the frog, so it's a zigzag bow, as I go down that scale. So I'll do that a little bit slower. More bow, more. So I'm going to zigzag by making my up bows a little bit longer each time. Let me try that one more time. So middle placement. More. So the bow length is not equal. My up bows are always a little bit more than my down bows. You see the placement did not change on the string. It was right in the middle. But we can do a lot with the placement on the physical bow to affect the dynamic. Conversely, maybe I want that soft sound all throughout. I'm going to stay really arm pushed out towards the fingerboard, and I'm going to try to use a little bit of bow, start in the upper half. So all these factors are really just to help us kind of enhance our color palette, or the choices that we're able to make with one piece of music. So we talked a little bit about placement today. In the next video, we're going to talk about the angle of the bow. So we're talking, is it flat bow here? Is it tilted one way or the other? What's the right thing to do? So if you have any questions about things that we talked about today, placement of the bow, things that were unclear, post it in the comments below. I really enjoy trying to help from afar. And until the next video, which I hope you are subscribed so you will be able to see that one too, happy practicing.